Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of this is a different take on things because we are talking random stories, like just random stories, and Ayesha Raymond, BigFemVader, is in, and I'm sure she's got a litany of it. And for those who don't know, this kind of genesis of this episode of the podcast was brought on because Virgil, yes, WWE legend Virgil, aka Curly Bill, or what is it, Soul Man Jones, and what have you. Yeah, he hit on my mom when I was 8, in front of my dad, and she tortured my what basically was like, "Hey, you want to be my valet for the next show?" And my mom was just like, "Oh, of course," and I'm like, oh. My mom's Fijian.
Of course,
So, yeah, she tormented my dad for months for that. So it's from the ashes of my fucking childhood memories that this genesis of the podcast, or the genesis of this particular podcast, exists. So, Ayesha, what's up?
how you doing? I had to rack my brain for stories that won't get me into trouble, so I'm just like,
Well, we will say, like, statutes of limitation should apply, one, and then we were not named names, right? So if somebody basically goes like, "Hey," and you have to eat with somebody, they're implicating themselves. So really, is it your fault? That's what I'm saying.
it's not even other people, it's myself. There's a lot of things that I haven't, I know the story of, but other people don't know that. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess let's start off with the, I mean, if we were going on a particular, like, I don't know, like a PG kind of a version of events and stuff, like do you have like a PG that wouldn't get you in trouble? And then we'll go into the juicier ones after.
I'll go through a PG that won't get me in trouble, that also will get me in trouble.
I put restrictions.
No, it will and won't. It will get me in trouble.
Okay.
I'm not the most nicest person when it comes to vengeance, because vengeance is key. So I had a friend who had been basically being the most obnoxious, annoying kiss ass that you could ever think of, to the point where everybody just wanted to wrap their hands around this guy's neck and just wait until everything pops and turns blue. So I can't remember exactly what he did to, like, ultimately piss me off. But what happened was, we were going to training, and this is when I was training in Norwich. And it was also when I first started driving, and I just got my car. So I, for some reason, don't understand directions when you're walking compared to how you're driving. It's different for me. So every time I drove to Cossey, I got lost. One training school, this guy had peed me off so much that I had waited until everybody left, and I had told 2 of my friends, and I'd got his water bottle, and I was like, what can I do with it? So I walked into the toilets, and I just started flushing the toilet and filling up the water bottle, and I left it exactly where he left it. So the next day, everybody gets up to go to training, and I get in my car by myself. I don't know why. Everybody arrives at the training school, and I'm left driving around Cossey for about 15 minutes. It's a 7-minute drive. I was driving for about 15 minutes, and they told me that as soon as he had got to the training school, he'd grabbed the bottle of water and chugged it, and literally just turned green. And I was like, shit, I missed my own. I missed it all. It happened, but I wasn't there.
That's awesome. I think that's awesome.
PG.
Right. I agree. Just somebody, I mean, we did see at WrestleMania Alexa Bliss kind of do whatever the hell that came out of her crown and whatever. That was different for those kind of keeping score. That was different than whatever Papa Shango did to the Ultimate Warrior, which is also different than whatever came out of Mae Young when she gave birth to a hand. So there's that.
The slime and the hand.
Yeah, different liquids. And where's Owen? He's in the room. Hey, Straight Venom. He's in the room taking care of his nephew. So there's that. And Okemi says, "What type of stream is this?" Hello.
It's a
And
fun stream.
yes, absolutely. The fuck. Agreed. The fuck. I agree with you 100%. So with my, I have a work one, right? I used to work for FedEx, and I remember I used to ship parcels, right? Ship boxes here, there, everywhere, right? And as somebody who shipped parcels, you kind of have to know what you're shipping, especially if somebody was shipping internationally, right? So, and the one thing that we were taught, like almost from the jump, is if anybody has coffee grounds, hey, it might be weed. Now, mind you, this is way before it was legal here in California, almost like 10 years before, right? So we're just like, this guy comes in with a package actually to the UK, and it reeks of like coffee, like coffee grounds, just like coffee grounds, right? So it's like, hey, can I inspect this package because what you're supposed to do, And he and he gets like, yeah, like he was totally cool about it, right? So I open it, and then there's like a whole like there's probably like 5 pounds of weed just wrapped in what is it? Not bubble wrap, but the saran wrap and everything.
Yeah.
Yes, and I look at him dead in the eye, and he goes, "I guess I can't ship that." I was like, "No, you can't," and
No,
gave him
dude.
back his 5 pounds of weed.
You gave it back to him. You're
I wasn't gonna take it. What the? There's cameras on me.
Usually happen.
It was my work time. It was, I guess, his work time too. I don't know what the hell. And that's not even like the only drug story that we're gonna get from my part that we're gonna get into. But yeah, well,
I'll give you a work one, but a work one that is not wrestling, and it leads into your finding stuff. I used to work at Easy Gym before the whole wrestling started happening because personal trainer, and me and my colleague Arian, we were closing up in the night, and obviously when you close up, you have to look at all the lockers and all that other stuff and make sure everything's like put back together. We had to open a few lockers that were locked because you're not allowed to leave stuff in there overnight. So we cracked a few open. The last locker that we cracked open, I shit you not, literally from my time as working at a bar, I opened the locker and the first thing I saw was a bottle of Krug. I was like, wait, what? And then we picked up the bottle, and then underneath the bottle were boxes of Magnum bottles of all these different kinds of champagne. Someone had just either nicked, collected, and stashed in those lockers. So we did the upmindable thing, and we cleared it out to my house. He came back the next day and knocked on the office door and was like, somebody's just broken into my locker. I was like, what locker was it? It was what was in the locker. So he described the alcohol that was in the locker. And I went, dude, you do realize that not only have you committed an offense, you're not allowed to leave stuff in the lockers. I don't know where that alcohol came from, and alcohol shouldn't be in my gym. You've got two choices. You can forget about this entire conversation, or I can just get the evidence and just give it to the police if you want. And he just turned around and walked away.
10 points, right on. And there was a bit of a soiree that happened, I would think, at your flat afterwards.
Oh, of course, we partied for about 5 days. It was cool, and I brought some of those stuff on wrestling trips. But it was just the most freakiest thing. I'm like, you even nicked these, or you're just trying to have a party in my gym. But they were Magnum bottles, and Magnum bottles cost about like 100, maybe 150 quid, and it's just like, why? There was a good grand's worth of alcohol in that locker.
That's 10 points. 10 points. Now, Straight Venom says he hasn't been on the Xbox in a while. I don't know. He's not been good at school, Owen has. That's my friend, my son Owen's friend, and he's asking why my son hasn't been on Xbox. So there's that.
Because school just started. He has to go back to school.
Yeah, there you go. And DJ Yannick's our friend. He says, hello from the UK, according to Woods. I hope we all are safe and well. Hello again, Ayesha. Pleasure to see you. Right?
Nice to see you.
Yes, absolutely. And I knew you would be coming. I hope you would come. Because no, I don't have socks on my feet, But what I do have is odd socks. Cheech and Chong. Those are collectors. I'm just
Where
saying.
did you get those from?
Oh, at Ross, which is like TJ Maxx's like sister store here in the US. And it was like all of $3. And I was like, oh. And actually, I got it when I needed to go pee because I was driving pre-pandemic for Uber. So I just stopped in a Ross, right? And I used the restroom, and going out of the restroom, I was like, oh, those are awesome. And I thought they were going to be like $10. Nope, $3 on clearance. I'm like, those are going with me. So
I want those. You said
yeah.
pre-pandemic for Uber. You must have good Uber stories. Tell one.
Oh, now see, you knew where I was going here. Because of course I do. Of course I do. And DJ Yannick says, alcohol in a gym locker. Wow, you should have morphed into the saber-toothed tiger on him. Or the drunken master. Either way.
Yeah, that's true. I could there's all that stuff.
Yeah. And Straight Venom said same. So listen to your parents, Straight Venom, and you'll get more Xbox time, is what I'm saying. I'm just saying. No, just saying. Now here's the funny thing. So my first, I did Lyft before I did Uber. Made more money doing Uber. Don't have anything against either or party. I literally chose to drive for Lyft for nothing else. But again, my mom is from the British Commonwealth. You live in the UK. We call, hey, is your friend going to take give you a lift to school? That is the only reason why I drove for Lyft, for Uber, whatever. And that's where this takes place. My first day driving for Lyft, I made about $300. Like, it was closing in on like $280. That was probably the best first night that I'd ever had in any job, right? So I'm like, man, I'm good. I planned to drive for like 10 hours. I think I made it in like 6 or 8 hours. So I was just like, I'm going to go home, right? But I forgot to turn the notification thing off. And I was like, and I heard as soon as I realized it, I heard a ping. Now, obviously, first night I didn't have a lot of rides under me, so I didn't want to have it go on my record that I denied a ride, and it would count against me in my driving score, right? So I was like, okay. And I was just like, they're probably going up the way. I was literally minutes away from my house. Oh, my dog is kicking out my light. Yeah. So here's the deal. I picked up these folks literally like 10 minutes away from my place, right? And I live kind of like right above Hollywood, right? Well, these folks were drunk as hell. This almost reminded me of like that weird kind of bygone the what was it, that the United Nations or whatever the hell, Alberto Del Rio and Wolf Rusev and all that and whatever, like they were the drunk version of this, because there was a guy from Ecuador, there was a gal from Peru, and then the only American was essentially, a guy from right up the street. Now, when all of them got in, there was, I think, 4 people, right? 3, like the Model UN, all of the international flavors, they got in the backseat, and then the guy from Torrance, which is like in Southern California, he goes, I'm going to ride with you. So he rides with me. He's dressed nice with a nice blazer and what have you. So as soon as I open, as soon as like they get in the car, close the doors and what have you, he brandishes this vial of not sugar. It was a white substance.
Not sugar.
Right. And here's the deal. So I was like 10 minutes away from going home, right? Like I was almost there, right? And they want to go to Beverly Hills, which is like 45 minutes the other direction, and all surface streets. You can't go from where we were on the freeway. It was all surface streets. This dude with the cocaine, right? It was full. It was a full glass vial of cocaine, right? Every light that was red, he took a bump. And now, mind you, it's pretty miraculous, the fact that I grew up in Inglewood High, and this was the first time at 30 some odd years old, my mid 30s, was the first time I actually saw cocaine in person, and haven't seen it since. I have, believe you me. But so every light, he takes a bump, he takes a bump. And by the time we get to Beverly Hills, like, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna party, man. You want to come up?" Like, just like he almost reminded me of Bobcat Goldthwait. It was, right? And so basically, he gets out the car. The vial is bone dry, like even the residue snorted away, right? They all get out and they were like, "You're gonna come?" I was like, "Yeah." And I hit the gas, so all the doors flung, and I drove off.
Wow. 20 points.
Yes.
So how far is it exactly from where you were to Beverly Hills? Just timing.
I want to say 35, 40 minutes for sure.
How did you not have a heart attack?
I don't know. I don't know what happened afterwards. Like, I actually went onto like TMZ, you know, to kind of like, were anybody dead in Beverly Hills? And I mean, I'm not trying to be like morbid or whatever, but it was Beverly Hills Hotel where, you know, many a superstar, Whitney Houston and what have you, unfortunately met their demise. And I looked at TMZ and I was like, "Oh, let me go driving again." I'm a diligent worker, am I? Yeah.
I think that would have been the day I quit.
Oh, the money that I made, again, driving for Lyft and Uber, the best money. Like, I've been a marketing like assistant at a tech company. I thought that with the corner office, I made like almost 2 times as much driving for Lyft and Uber. The hell, I'm not. The hell, no. Uber and Lyft are great. I'm just saying.
Well, they helped me at the airport, so I have nothing to say.
Yes.
Absolutely nothing.
The DJ Yannick says, "Odd socks. If I wasn't already subscribed, then I would be. Ha, Cheech and Chong, fuck the world. Only mentioned the Power Rangers reference after we spoke to Ayesha. And Fiji is in the Commonwealth, so we're brothers." Absolutely, DJ Yannick. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
just saying.
This is a big, nice world of families. Love.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing. And he also says drugs are for mugs, which I have a pug, and that all rhymed. Yeah.
Drugs are for mugs and pugs. You're gonna drug your pug?
Pugs, not drugs, is I think that's the shirt. There's a shirt you can buy off of Etsy. I don't know. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. It's a hashtag. I got a pug. I created a Instagram account for the pug. Haven't done shit all with it, but I know there's money on the table.
I know, dude. You literally could be rolling in money right now. I keep saying I need an animal. I want a fennec fox. I really do.
What is that? That sounds like the thing on like the Nintendo 64. The fennec fox.
Pretty much. It's like a little midget fox, but with these massive ears, and they just like they're so cute.
Can we say midget? Is that the terminology?
No, I don't know. Small fox then with ears.
Okay.
Don't try and cancel me.
No, I'm never gonna cancel you. But Don McGuire, he was saying I had Ivy, also from the UK scene, right, on the podcast, one half of the Pretty Little Killers, and he was just like, "Hey, why do you guys think that midget wrestling isn't bigger?" And I was like, wait, and I literally reverted back to my whole like watching like Chris Van Vliet's interview with Hornswoggle, and I was like, no, he said he like in terms of wrestling, it's midget, but then if not, then you say dwarf. That's what I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not good with labels. Again, I had a corporate marketing gig, and I drove for Uber and made more. So I don't know. I fuck titles, man.
I'm not good with labels.
Uber driver is like the bottom of the barrel. I made the most money. Cool, man.
Well, are they the bottom of the barrel? Wow.
Most people like that and bathroom attendant. I don't know. I'm like, fuck. My dad was a bathroom attendant. Made pretty good living for us. So fuck it. I don't care.
I would literally, I'm in the mind state of wherever you can actually make money, as long as you're making it.
Unless you bring coffee grounds, parcel with FedEx and 5 pounds of weed. I don't know. But then again, now it's like a dispensary, so we're good.
He could have been shipping that to his godmother for all you know. That could have been a present.
She's got glaucoma. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. So There's mine.
Okay, so is it my turn?
Yes, it is.
Mine is a weird story. Again, I'm trying to think of things that won't get me like totally hated by people.
But why you do
Uh,
that? Why is midget wrestling bigger? That's brilliant. And I just thought about it. You're brilliant, DJ Onyx, for bringing that up. I didn't think about it until that happened. 10 points. 10 points. For you.
10. You can't give out points to people like this.
I reference it like Court Bauer's MLW podcast is just like 10 points. I heard that. I use sir because like it's in Kevin Smith movies. Like you watch anything with like Jay and Silent Bob, they say, "Hey, sir." So I use sir not as a term of like respect, but just I love Kevin Smith.
I just say sir after every sentence sometimes.
Even if it's a madam?
Sir. Yes. Yes, I do.
10 points.
There's actually a weird saying before the dojo closed, the Fierce Females dojo, when we had to do like individual non-contact sessions and stuff. Two of the girls had a saying, and after they didn't like something, they would go, "Excuse me, sir." Like, is that a thing? Because I want that to be a thing now.
I think you should make it a thing, is what I'm saying.
I'm gonna make it.
Be the change you want to see, BigFemVader, is what be the change you want to see. You're enacting positive change and calling everyone out of their gender. I don't know. I was going to say modification. That doesn't sound right either. But
Gender modification, everybody?
Association? I don't know. Now it's like an association, like a wrestling, like the Elks Lodge. I don't know.
No. No. All right, my story. We were driving to there was a big boom in the UK when people thought that they could get on TV very quickly, and there was an internet program that I think it was UKW Wrestling. They were based in Wakefield, and I had to drive to this show. Before I had to drive to this show, may I add you, the claps are gonna happen for a reason. I was wrestling on a Pro Wrestling Eve show, and it was one of the first Pro Wrestling Eve shows that I did, and it was myself against Alpha Female.
Ooh.
Bearing in mind what I'd like to say is we were also booked on the show together in Wakefield, but I hadn't heard anything from her or anybody else that was going to be on this show. So I assumed, even though I have a car, that everyone's making their own, like no one told me about anything. So the show ends. I unfortunately suffered a kind of a little bad rattling in that match, and she comes walking up to me, asking what time I'm going to pick her up in the morning, and I just go, "What? Oh, the promoter said that I'd be driving with you." Did he now? So I get on the phone and I phone the promoter and I literally say to him, "I don't have a problem with driving people. It's not an issue. I have a car. There are 3 other seats. I'll be in one. But it would have been nice if you just informed me that I'd be taking, Alpha and myself and Katrina Waters to the show, because that's now 2 people I have to count for. I was just going to drive me. So the bad rattling in the match was a very bad rattling, and I couldn't actually drive in the morning. I was just very out of it. I was just very tired, but I couldn't cancel the show. So I had to ask my friend to drive for me. Apparently, throughout the entire car ride, I was just doing this.
Oh, no.
Then I got out of the car, looked up, and just hit the ground. I have no idea what happened, whether it was dehydration or not. We do the match and the show now. This is where the story happens. So
That's not the story?
No, it gets worse. We do the match. We're doing the match. We're going through everything and the show. So, unfortunately, said Alpha Female had a really bad habit of calling people rookies all the time. And it was very this is not me trying to bash anybody, but you don't, regardless or not if it's probably a language barrier thing or it's just not, she had the over excessive thing with calling everybody around her a rookie. So all day, that's what she called me. Remember, I drove your ass. Not only did I drive you, I didn't know I was gonna. And she just, the whole day was just being extremely difficult. the match happens, and this is actually still online. I found this the other day, and it makes me laugh so much. Everybody's going through the match. Everybody knows what they're gonna do. You know, I'm sorry, kayfabe, 4-4. Yeah, we plan out stuff. Everybody knows what they're gonna do. We get to our spot, and I do all my shit. I do all my stuff, and I get up, and she just looks at me. For a good 5-6 minutes.
What the
And
fuck?
then goes, ah, and then hits me in the face. And I'm like, that's not what was supposed to happen. And then does away, and the finish happens or whatever. I get backstage and I literally go, Jazzy, did you forget? She was like, oh, but I covered it anyway. I'm like, but you hit me in the face. It's like, why? Like, if you wanted to cover something, like, bearing in mind, I remember the R word, the no contextual R word that we're never going to say again. You pause, everybody makes mistakes during matches, stuff happens. But instead of just covering it like the professional that you saying you were the whole day, you literally just punched me in the face. After that, I was just like, oh. Japan, here we come.
Yes. I mean, it's not like she saw you fucking face plant at all, out of the car. And,
or, my face in front of her, the things that she's not supposed to do, like punch me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So apparently, I don't know, Jazzy, like, fuck kayfabe, and apparently the promoter, I mean, like, fuck CTE and then fuck kayfabe, because, like, also, you're like, oh, we're trying to protect kayfabe. The promoter wanted you guys to drive together, so that one. Yeah, exactly. And UKWW was a shit show. A shit show.
What was it?
Of a shit show.
It was in Wakefield. Like, if anyone can remember the actual promotion, just type it in. And they had an internet program.
That's it.
If you can remember the promotion, type in the link. That I will give you if you want me to. No, I'm not going to put it online because that's just going to start shit.
Yeah.
Find it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's what, Alpha Female versus Ayesha Raymond, or is it BigFemVader?
No, it's Amazon. It will be Amazon Ayesha Raymond versus Alpha Female versus Katrina Walters.
Ooh, whoa! And all three of you guys drove to the match. Oh, I love it. Oh, damn! Vern Gagne is probably rolling in his grave. Good Lord.
If that car broke down, there'd be no women's match. I don't understand when people do that. Like, it's just like, like you'd literally not be able to replace it. The whole match is in one car.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty tough to beat, and literally because you got punched in the face. None of my stories have me actually, like, I don't know, getting punched in the face, but I do have a story. There was a time, I don't know, should I do? You want the Katy Perry dress story?
Ooh, what's that?
Okay, so there was a time where at FedEx, right, in Hollywood, so it's in a building, right? It's in a building. The FedEx ship center is at the bottom of the building, and there's apartments above. And Katy Perry's costumes designer, his studio loft was right above us, right? So I was one of the 3 shipping coordinators, just because of the volume of that place, but I would be tasked to basically, build packages for odd items. And my kind of claim to fame was when I was at another location and somebody literally had like an army Jeep door, like a door, right? Of a vintage army truck and whatever. And they were like, we need to ship this. It took me 3 days, but I figured out a way to ship it. So just boxes, you just flat, thick pieces of cardboard. You have a perforator and all that, whatever. Run it through a perforator and whatever. You pack the shit, put some bubble wrap, and voila, there you go. Ship door, right? Not shit door, but yeah, well. So, the costumer for Katy Perry was essentially running late, and I think she was shipping to he called it in. He was like, I'm coming down, have a box ready, this is whatever. I was like, okay, cool, right? So I put it, and there's this dress of like ice cream, like little like ornaments of ice cream all about, just
I
whatever.
think I
Yeah,
remember that one.
you don't forget. Hashtag never forget. Like Katy Perry dresses and whatever, right? So pack it up and whatever, and then he goes 10 minutes, and they're about to like fucking take off cart. Like this was like 10 minutes before everything goes into the big truck to be sorted at the airport and all that. Well, he runs in and he's like, I forgot this. And it was a bedazzled bra. Just in front of everyone. It was like there was like maybe 30 people in line, and then other people doing a sort of copies and using the internet, taking pictures. And just the way, because we had floor to ceiling at this particular location, it had floor to ceiling, it still has floor to ceiling windows, right? And it was like at 5:30-ish and whatever. So the light hit just right. So it was like a damn bedazzled like disco ball and whatever. So it caught everybody. There was no way that you could just like gently conceal that you have a bedazzled bra, whether it's Katy Perry's or not. It just, there it is, right? And he's just like, whatever. So we had to kind of peel through. And the thing is, he wanted like, I think first overnight, which means not only is it like shipped overnight, but like literally when it gets off of the fucking plane, they kind of sequester it and deliver it to wherever, what have you. So that was it. So Katy Perry bra, all for anyone to see.
Wow. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What color was it? You said bedazzled, but you didn't say a color.
Yeah, it was like, oh god, it was. There was all the colors. Like it was just all. It kind of reminded me of like if you've ever seen like any of Selena's like kind of bedazzled brassieres and all that. Kind of looked like that, but it had like way more. Like there was a green jam, and I'm good with the MMA and wrestling.
So, don't ask me about women's bras. I'm sorry, I won't.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a connoisseur. I'm married here. This is where I'm gonna do the Lennon. I'm married. I know my wife's bra. I don't know if anybody would want to know that. Why would you want to know that? Is what I'm saying.
That's true. That's very true.
Right? Okay. And DJ Yannick says, I'm going to look as soon as the stream ends for the match. And how fun to watch knowing the story. Quick question. Did you ride home together?
Yes, unfortunately.
Awkward.
I could have had a potential concussion, okay? Yes. And I had to drive. So remember that.
What happened to the friend?
What friend? Oh,
you said you had a friend drive you.
I drove. Yeah, but he, my friend. I'm not gonna say his name because I feel bad. He's very temperamental when it comes to driving sometimes, and I think then he did drive halfway. We got to Leicester, and he drove the rest of the way. So I did Wakefield to Leicester, and he did Leicester to London.
That's funny because he's like, oh, concussion, punched in the face flat on the floor. You're good to drive because it fits my temperament.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes he was like that. Sometimes
it bees like that.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah, and DJ Yannick says if the Katy Perry story, shame that it wasn't her socks. According to Wiz, I would put them in my pocket. Which is, I think it's a lit song. After my own worst enemy, it was like something about. No, it was a Ziploc. Never mind.
All right, there we go.
They had 2 hits. 3. God. Oh, I went into. You remember my own worst enemy, right? God. Put it in the Google machine.
Google it.
You'll know it when you hear it, because if you survived the late 90s, you couldn't go anywhere. It was around like Sugar Ray and whatever, but it was like something about like, still burning. Please tell me why. My car's in the front yard last night and I was sleep. Fuck, I don't know. I'm not known for my vocals. Yeah.
I'll Google. Don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah.
I won't let you strain your voice.
Oh, I got to tune up my vocalizers.
Is it my turn now? I had a story. Did I ever tell you about when I met Drew McDonald?
No, and for those who don't know, if you, I mean, German and UK wrestling legend, but if you want to know about some of the dalliances, and you mentioned Alpha Female, who's from Germany, well, Germany has Reaperborn, the red light district, and what have you, and the sword tales of Drew McDonald can be found in Chris Jericho's first book. So there you go.
Very true. Very true. Very, very true. When I met him, I met him when we used to go up to Norwich, and it was one night where we were having a party in the Romany, which was their pub, and they had a lot of British legends there. But I'm very young and surrounded by a lot of big people, and it's kind of dark, and I don't know like a lot of faces. I'm sitting at the bar after like just it's too late at night, and I sit down, and this guy sits next to me. And bearing in mind my vision of Drew McDonald, because of what I used to watch on World of Sport, this is not insulting to him whatsoever. He's amazing, like awesome man. Rest in peace, of course. Like my vision of Drew McDonald was the stuff that I saw on pictures. So I never knew of him when he was very, very, very melanin. Very tanned. He was a very tanned Scotsman at this point, to the point where he was like as dark as me. This guy sits down next to me and goes, all these white people, they've got no rhythm. And I went, okay, sir. And then he gets up, and my friend sits down. He went, did you know who you were just talking to? I'm like, no. He was like, that was Drew McDonald. I was like, what? What? And then we just literally had a nice conversation after that. But he did that to break the ice, because I think at that time he was quite dark, so he had just had like one of his tans, so he had looked like the other 4 black people in the building. So it was funny to do, but it was just the Scottish, like the thick Scottish voice, and then the skin. They're just like, my brain is ow.
Oh yeah.
But the nicest guy ever.
Oh, that's tremendous. And I love the fact that he waits until after his wrestling career is long gone to get a tan.
I know.
Facts.
Well, pictures. He was getting ready for the promo days. That's what he was doing.
There you go. I mean, if you can't work your gimmick, you can't work, is what Jim Cornette said. So there you go.
It's very true.
I'm just saying. And DJ Yannick, so he says, give us a bit of a song. All right. Here we go. Fully vocalized, I think. Hold on. The lights went out. And so apparently that's what happens when I sing. But for you, DJ Yannick, this is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Hey, there we go.
Oh, okay. I was getting ready to play it.
I
was going to give you tambourines and everything.
Tambourines? What do you mean? Like, I don't know. I was going to say licking acid. I don't know. I don't know what the kids do these days. Licking acid. I don't know.
I was watching Austin Powers last night. I'm sorry. Tambourines are in my head.
Tambourines, right on, the bright and shiny. When you mentioned, like, of all the great bands that have utilized the tambourine in their live or album performance or whatever, I went into, like, what is it, Bubble Boy with Jake Gyllenhaal and the Bright and Shiny, and they're kind of a cult, and yeah, that's where my head went.
No,
I'm an idiot. Happens. No.
Mind out of the gutter. Third story.
Okay. Oh God. Let's see. Oh, I got one. Okay, so my first credential for the second biggest MMA promotion in the world, that being Bellator MMA, right? I got credentials to go and cover a story, right? And I mean, cover like the events or whatever. They had a press event. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. There's a big moment in my career and whatever. And, I was just started working with like people that ended up becoming my family. Free Admission Media. Shout out to Free Admission Media. Go ahead and subscribe to all of their social medias and what have you. And you'll see this face interviewing a litany of people. So with that all being said, I thought it would be great, instead of me interviewing somebody, my friend Blake Bulletproof Troop, who funny enough, is now the commentator for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, as well as he made his Josh Barnett Bloodsport debut as a co-commentator for Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 6. So this is the Blake Troop that we're talking about. And it's more me than him. He had just fought on LFA, which is one of the main kind of I guess estuaries into the UFC, like the developmental promotions and what have you. And he literally reversed a figure 4 leg lock, like legit. And he pounded out the dude and KO'd him, right? But because of it, now this a week removed from his fight, we on our way to Bellator, he's got a big brace, like a brace over his leg and all that, whatever. But I was just like, instead of me interviewing it, I'm gonna have Troop. I thought it would be a fighter, like a peer on peer type deal. Have him interview fighters. Maybe he gets in front, like in front of like Scott Coker and all of these promoters, and like maybe gets a Bellator deal. That was my deal. That was my intention, right? So, at the time I didn't have a car, right? So I literally took a bus to where he was, and theoretically it's only 45 minutes away. It was 2 hours on the bus. Right,
Oh.
It's 2 hours on the bus. We meet him, and his friend at the time. She was like a bodybuilder, she still is a bodybuilder, but for the interest of the story, she was a bodybuilder, and she had this she was so hospitable and just like, hey, try this, and she gives me a glass, right? Gives me a glass, and it's great, and she's like, oh, it's liquid egg whites, and I was like, oh, but it tasted like berry or whatever, but it was her sponsor, right? It was her sponsor. And I was like, oh, wow, thanks and whatever. And I just gulped it and whatever. It was actually good. Like, it was actually good. It was a weird head thing, right? So Troop goes, bro, I got a sponsor too. Cushy Punch. Now, Cushy Punch, for those who don't know, is a edible company, right?
Mhm.
That they sell marijuana edibles, right? So, I was kind of like, when it comes to Inglewood and drug culture, most people ask me about it. I have no idea because I try to be straight and narrow. As a person of color, I can say half Fijian all day, but people are going to be like black guy. So I was like, if I black guy, drugs, gang, 8 children by 7 different baby mamas, like that is what they think I'm going to be. So, yeah.
Okay.
It's it's 125 milligram, right? 125 milligram. I don't know about the drug culture or whatever, right? And now it's like the horticulture culture. I don't know, but all I know is Joe Rogan talks about Joey Diaz having a 500 milligram, and that's too much. So I'm like, oh, 25. I'm not a mathematician, but that's way less. So I'm like, cool, on an empty stomach, mind you. So off we go. And where the event was, it was at a native casino, probably about 90 to 2 hours outside of town, right? So we stop at an In-N-Out because that's what you do in California, right? It's like, I'm hungry. Cool. Go to In-N-Out. Go to In-N-Out. We're having this intellectual conversation. And if you know Troop, he's got 8 billion things going on at the time. He's a marketing genius and what have you, right? So we're talking about this like branding and like where we see our lives and careers and everything like that, right? And all of a sudden he looks me dead in the eye, goes, bro, I don't even know what the fuck you said. I'm high. And as that happened, as he's saying that, it almost looked like somebody turned the engine for a airplane, on me, but it was hot, and it just boom. I was like, oh wow, okay. So I was like, oh, let me splash water on my face, and I try to figure out. He called me like 45 minutes later. I couldn't figure out or conceptualize how to get out of the bathroom. Okay.
Wow, dude.
And we go 2 hours. Yeah, man. So I don't know what happened, but apparently Jaime is an asshole because like him in a brace, literally, having fought a week before, right? A week prior, I left his ass. Like I jumped out of the car and just left him. And he was like moseying or whatever. And apparently he was just like, I'm gonna be at the bar when you figure out where we gotta go and whatever. Like it was at like a native casino. So like when you figure out whatever, I'll be here.
Wow.
All I know is probably about 8 hours. So we got there about 10. The thing was supposed to it was supposed to start at 2, and we got there at 10, what have you. All I know is at 7:30, I get this text, right? And then it kind of unlocked like literally almost like 30 other texts and calls between my wife and Troop trying to figure out where I am. And I finally figured out how to use my phone. And I go, and he's like, where are you? I'm like, we got to go. We missed the thing and whatever. Like, we got to go. And I couldn't even fucking talk. I was so lit. So, and I was like, it's dark and there's wood. And he's like, okay, I'm going to be over by the cage. Like, I'm just going to sit here, come out when you're ready. Right. Okay. So I roll out. Apparently, in my kind of stupor, I essentially fell asleep, as Michael Williams says, under the Bellator cage for 7 hours.
Wow.
Fucking no. Now, good thing that True, like the amazing person that he is, he literally drove me home, like 4 hours home, made sure that I had like fast food in my system, whatever, and then presented it like, because I was like denying texts from my wife. It was like, oh, she's gonna know I'm high. I got really paranoid.
Yes,
right?
that's what happened.
Yes, and it's just like, he's like, bro, you need to tell her, like, hey, you can even blame it on me. Like, I gave you an edible, didn't know how you're gonna fucking react or whatever. Blame it on me, blah blah blah, whatever. So does that, whatever, presents me to my wife and my kid, and there I go. I go off to sleep. We actually grabbed an Uber to drop my son at school, right? And we get in the Uber, and I was going to continue on to work, and I just sneezed, and I thought I was good. I sneezed, and I started giggle. My wife looks at me with the most like,
Giggling.
motherfucker, because it fucking hit again.
Oh. You poor person. Oh, I feel bad for you.
Yeah. And again, this is what happens when you're late in the game. There's I don't know. It's funny because like I kind of invested almost like my entire life in like the MMA and pro wrestling stuff and everything, that I missed everything out. So like there'd be times where like fighters or wrestlers, they'll be talking about comic books. It fucking totally missed me. I'm all like, whoa, you guys are fucking badass wrestler fighters and shit, and you do other things? Because I fucking put all my eggs in one basket and I don't know what the fuck else. So I'm kind of devoid in most things or whatever. And when I experience it, I'm in my mid-30s. I'm supposed to be a responsible adult.
No. See, you and me are the same. We are. That was my problem. I spent so much time doing wrestling that everything I basically experienced in my late 20s and then onwards, and it's just like, oh, was this life? Oh, and right, okay.
Yeah, no. And again, Troop is an amazing person. I will, and talented. I mean, he was at Mania weekend this for the second year in a row. So, just saying.
Oh, jealous.
Of what? Yeah, we can get Cushy Punch to sponsor you. I don't know how the UK restrictions kind of. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe Punch, not Cushy Punch.
That's alpha female. Come
Kool-Aid.
on, get on with it.
No, I don't want to be punched in the face again. You see this face? No. I don't want. No.
Yeah.
Just no.
Yeah.
Oh, is it my turn now? It's my turn. Crap. Where's my story? What story's in my head? All I can hear is Cushy Punch.
Yeah. That's
Okay. Where's my story? My story's in my head. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Give me a subject and it will come back.
I don't know. Farfanugit.
Farford nougat. Oh, there we go. Germany. So after thank you. He did it. He's a genius.
Yes. No,
So it was my first ever like shows for GWF and Germany and touring of Germany. And I love Berlin to pieces. I love that company and I love those wrestlers. I love those people. I love everything. But we were, I guess, the women's show was first and the men's show was in the evening. So the women got to watch the men's show and obviously get changed, what have you, and then you go in the crowds and go back. So myself, Pollyanna, Katie Harvey, Valkyrie, who is now at NXT UK, Valkyrie,
Mhm.
were standing and we were just watching the show. And periodically, what would happen was like fans would just kind of plop like glasses of beer and go, "This is for you." And they would come again. "This is for you." And they would come again. "And this is for you." And I wasn't that comfortable with it. So every drink that I had was given to me. I fed to Polly. So by the end of the nights, Polly was like seeing triple and double, and I was just happy and fine. And no one could understand why. And I was just like, here, here, here. Because I don't. It wasn't even against like the drink and alcohol because everybody dabbles here and there, and even the big FemVader herself. But it was I'm from.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? The fitness and alcohol doesn't mix. It's a lie.
Aren't you Jamaican?
Yeah, and I'm Jamaican too. So rum, yes, Ray and nephew, I can drink that straight without any problem. I can. But my issue is I'm from London and I was always told never to accept drinks from just random people. And then I even did the thing look at the bottom of the glass, you're waiting for the fizz. And I was just like, but then it sounds even worse because I gave the drink to my friend. So am I a horrible person? Polly knows I love her, but it was just like, I can't drink it. I can't. Nigga,
And you
ass.
and you gave the drinks to Polly or
Yeah.
or Valkyrie?
I gave the drinks to Polly.
Okay, because I was gonna say, did you make Valkyrie get closer to Valhalla?
Oh no! Well, yeah, that would have been training. I probably should have done that.
Just saying.
Oh,
I'm just
man.
saying. Yeah. Dude, oh, okay. Another Uber story. Okay. And somebody was like, "Oh, after this, you should start a podcast just on that." And I was like, I only drove for like a year and a half. I don't have so many stories, but the stories that I do have, I think they're gems. So I picked up some gentlemen, right, from athletically built gentlemen at 3 a.m. from West Hollywood. Okay, people were, at least what I could see, kind of similar descents, right? So I pick him up and whatever. One hits the chair and he's just gone, like just falls asleep, whatever, right? The other two, they were kind of panicking, and I'm like, this is odd, but I'm like, wow, it's a $40 trip. Game on, right? So, so basically, over the course of the trip, and I think it was about a 20-minute trip, whatever, but the surge rates were like crazy because there's all the bars were letting out in West Hollywood. And so it's just like, woo, right? That would normally be like a $12 trip. It was like 40. So I was like, bam, right on. So we start to go, and the two guys that weren't inebriated, they were trying to get like drunk high guy's phone, right? And trying to unlock it. And he had an iPhone. So they were using, like, they grabbed his like incapacitated hand to try and unlock his phone. And we're going through like, oh, you're his, like, I overheard the conversation, like, oh, you're his sister, like, whatever, come get your brother, and blah, 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 whatever. And the person that was intoxicated and out, he was the person who was the passenger. He's the one who ordered the lift, or it was ordered through him. So if nothing else, we're going to his address, or the address that he puts in. and the other two could kind of, I don't know, kick rocks, right? So basically, they're panicking, and they're like, and then it goes like, oh, your cousin is high, blah blah blah. What do we do? Oh, your brother, your son. They called this dude's mom. They
They
called this
went
dude's
through his phone.
phone. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hearing all the conversation, right? And now we're on the freeway, and they're like, and we're like 10 minutes from their destination. It's not far at all, right? And they're like, can we get out? I'm like, on the freeway, and it's dead at night. It's 3 a.m, right? And I was like on the freeway, and they're like, no, like, next exit. I was like, cool. And you want me to just take him? And they're like, yeah, cool. As soon as we exit, now mind you, it's pitch black. It's pitch black. They didn't even wait for the car to stop. I'm still going down the embankment of the exit, right? And the two flung the doors open, and they went prancing into the night. They were athletically built, but also might be in the LGBTQ community, right? So like that,
Why
right?
did they leave him
In the
though?
light, into the night. And I was like, oh, this is fun, because it was fast and it was also gracious, right? And I was like, this is a fun sight. And then like, oh no, Drunky's still back here, right? So I'm waking. So there was like a drugstore, no drugstore, but it was like a convenience store or whatever, 24-hour. And I pull into the parking lot, and I'm waking him up. I'm like, do you still want us to go? Whatever. There's two dudes left, whatever. And he is not waking up. And I'm like checking for breath. And maybe it might be my being naive, or like, again, I've never seen anybody check breath in wrestling or MMA, right? So I don't know. This is out of my wheelhouse, right? So I'm like, oh no, he's dead. That's just where my head went. I was like, oh no, he's dead, right? So I call Uber, right? And I tell him what's happening, and like, you're not gonna call 911. I was like, I want to make sure I still have a job after this. Like, so I'm gonna call you first, but if you're saying to call 911, cool, that's what I'm gonna do. Call 911, right? And he was okay, but like when he finally came to, they were strapping him in to the gurney, right? And they had it kind of upright, and then they folded whatever. But he wakes up, and it's just a big burly fireman, whatever, and he's just like, yeah. So couldn't have been more happy or whatever, right? So, and I'm watching the scene unfold, and they take him into the ambulance. They drive away, and then I notice, oh, he barfed in the back of the car. So, yeah, sorry.
No,
Yeah,
no.
he barfed in the car. So I
No.
reported it to Uber. So I got the $40 for the trip, and then $200, whatever. So that was 230 some odd dollars that I got.
Nice.
And a cool story that I get to
And
share
a cool
on the podcast.
story. Yeah, that you get to share the podcast.
Yeah, most people are like, oh, when you like, oh my gosh. Like before I started driving for Uber or Lyft and whatever, they were like, oh, I hate it when the people barf and whatever, or like whatever. I'm like, why? They pay you $200.
I didn't even know that. And realistically, you just got to go to have it valeted. And what the valet is, what, $50? Is it? Like,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just, it was a good deal. It was a good deal. So every time, like, maybe might not speak too highly of me, but there are times where, like, if I see somebody, or if I saw somebody that was like pretty gone, I'd go like every single
hi.
Yep, absolutely. That shit turned into the Fast and Furious real quick, and I was like, damn, didn't get it. It was almost like, the Super Mario, like you jump up, you hit a coin, you hit a curve, you get $200.
That's true. Spin the car, you get 500.
You said winning.
Don't spin the car. Don't spin the car.
Yeah.
But that's funny that you say about the car, because that leads into my story. See, we're doing well
Ooh.
here, podcast world.
See?
So the first time, my beautiful baby, my car, I don't care what anyone says, I own a Ford Fiesta, a black pitch black full Fiesta. Her name is Elvira. It's the first car I ever got, and I still own her to this day. I do work on her, even though people tell me that it's probably I should just get another car. I can't. Okay, I just can't. I literally had just got Elvira. I had her for about a month, and we had driven to training. And I'd driven all of us to training that day. There was 4 of us in the car. We did our training school, and it was WrestleMania weekend. And one of my friends thought just really needed to get back to watch WrestleMania. Really needed to do it, and he was offered a coach ticket by another one of our friends. Didn't take it. Somebody who apparently was going to drive him. It wasn't going to happen. So he kind of took my car. So in the morning, I get a message and a phone call from Norwich County Police saying that my boyfriend,
Wow.
because they just assumed he was my boyfriend, had been in a car accident. In my car. I look outside the window searching for Elvira because, as far as I'm concerned, the car keys were in my pocket. The car wasn't there. The car had been on. This is how he describes it. He was driving along the, I think it's A24. I can't even remember. No, A21. Back to London, and he was side by side with another car. And the car, apparently, the drivers in there were enticing him to race. So he decided to start racing with them, and he turned around the corner. Instead of just actually turning the corner like properly, as he turned the corner, my car flipped over onto its roof.
Wow.
All of that just to watch WrestleMania.
And he ended up in Norwich jail, right?
No, yeah, because they had to. Because as far as they're concerned, it's a stolen car. Because the person who owns the car isn't driving. Who the hell are you? Clearly, you are not a black woman. You are a black man. Who the hell are you? But they had taken him to jail and then to hospital, obviously, to check out all the stuff, and then released him. Whereas my car got impounded somewhere in the middle of somewhere. Then I had to be driven home. Not home, actually, no. I was driven to his house to get an explanation. And the whole time, he blamed everyone else apart from himself. And I looked him dead in the eye and I said, who took the keys? Who drove the car? Who's literally in trouble right now? And all the answers were me. So whose fault is it? It's nobody else's fault but yours. Until this day, he doesn't admit fault at all. Till this very day.
It's Vince McMahon's fault for creating WrestleMania. 1985.
Literally, that's all it was. He wanted to watch Mania. This is a grown ass man. He literally drove life and limb just so he could watch Mania.
Jeez, that's dedication. He should get a documentary on the Peacock WWE Network thing, just like Vladimir apparently. So there's that. Oh, you have. I mean, my car story isn't as good as yours, but it also includes Blake Troop. And I guess whenever I'm with Troop, cool shit happens. But this is it. So we were essentially one of our friends who's Amy Kaplan, who's a photographer, well-known photographer for MMA and what have you, editor of Fan-Sided MMA and all that jazz. So she apparently she wanted to drive to Vegas from California for the Ultimate Fighter finale, the last one that they had back in 2018, right? So now they're rebooting it, but that was the last one, right? So she had an interview at their Performance Institute, right? Their version of the WWE Performance Center, all right? So we're like, okay, cool, right? Now, mind you, it was a torrential downpour. And Amy, one of the reasons why we went with her is because she was scared to drive alone. Rightfully so, right? So I was like, hey, I'll go with you. And then I was like, yeah, that's cool, right? And then I was like, hey, Troop, like you want to do, like I think she posted it on Facebook, and then I think Troop and I both replied. So that just shows you we're on the same deal, right? So same wavelength. So we get in the car and she rents a car, and it's actually a Ford Fiesta, but a hatchback version, right? And a newer version, right? So the thing felt like a tin can. It was like like it was the most economical like version that they could do and whatever. It felt like a tin can. It was like a death trap. I felt like I was inside of a Bruce Springsteen song. I felt like this is a death trap, a suicide rap. Baby, we're born to run, right? And run we did, and run we did because she's scared. Torrential downpour. I mean, literally, it felt like the rain was punching the car as we were going along, right? So Amy, probably about maybe 30 minutes in, was like, I'm not driving. Or maybe she even like, yeah, she was like, I'm not driving, whatever. Troop was like, I'll drive. I was like, fuck, I just dodged shit tons of like Uber experiences. I'm not responsible here. You go. Right? So Troop would fit in any kind of like bygone wrestling era. When you hear of stories of like Blackjack Mulligan and Harley Race aiming, like not driving, but like here's point A, point B, and aiming to the destination at various rates of speed,
Mhm.
Troop would fit in with that deal, right? So Troop gets in the car and we're literally weaving in and out at no less than 85 miles an hour at any given time during the trip, right? And it's a downpour, right? And thankfully, we made it to Vegas. We made it to Vegas, okay, whatever. And then when we get to the Performance Institute, Justine Kish, who's actually fighting this weekend, she was there. And the story that Amy wanted to do on Justine was the fact that, she'd come off of a bad leg injury and she's recouped and she's getting ready to go again, right? So that was the story that was going to be had. So we sit at the cafeteria at the Performance Institute, right? And Forrest Griffin is like over there. There's a array of fighters and what have you. Now we sit down with Justine, right? And Amy's still shell shocked from the night before, right? She's still like, whatever. It's like, what happened? It's like, oh, we had Troop drive us, right? Oh, and I forgot halfway, like when Amy decides like she wants to not drive anymore or whatever, right? 20 minutes in, I was like, I texted Amy from the back seat. I was like, say you need to go to the bathroom. I'm not dying with you guys. Fuck this. I've got a family. Like that's literally what I said. And she was like, I'll get him to stop. Right. And she has a kid too. I was horrible, but I was just like, yeah, we're dying. We're dying. So she gets out, right? And it's just like truck stop, and they've got all assortment of shit and whatever. I take her back by like the alien jerky, and I was like, Amy, I'm not getting in the fucking car. I was like, could you cover this $80 Uber back home to fucking Glendale? Because like this is not happening. It's like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry, right? And I wrote my wife one last text like, I love you. You get everything. Whatever, right? So we go
I've
to the
always
car.
loved you.
Yes, absolutely. And then we get to the Performance, the Institute and whatever. And Justine Kish was like, wait, Troop drove you guys? And we're like, yeah. It was like, oh. And she kind of said a prayer over us. And turns out he did the same kind of deal. Like when she got her initial surgery, he drove her from Vegas the opposite way, Vegas to California, to kind of get situated. So she knew. So the three of us were kind of like kindred spirits in the fucking, like we survived the Blake Troop car ride and shit like that, right? So that's not even it. So we're coming back, right? And we got back late. And my wife was supposed to pick me up from Troop's house. She had the car, whatever, right? And we got back like on a Sunday morning, like at 5 a.m. And she's like, Blake is just like, you know what? Here, bunk it out in my house. We'll whatever. Tell your wife you're with me, and then we'll get something to eat, and I'll drive you home. And I was like, okay, cool. shot my wife a text or whatever. So we're heading back towards the freeway. And we, after surviving this hellacious trip, get fucking T-boned by some asshole running a red light. And they fucking got out and whatever. Yeah, we were pretty fucked for a while. Yeah.
They left the car. They literally just hit you and left the car.
Yeah. Like one of the bystanders actually ran whatever, and it was like 17-year-old kids and whatever, just on a joyride. They actually stole their mom's car and whatever, and they fucking, yeah. So there we go. Like, of all of that shit to happen, and the time we get into a crash is when, again, like we had just, like, light turned green and we're going into the intersection. Bam! That's it.
Wow. Whoa. That, no. I couldn't. I've never actually been in a car accident myself. That's why I hear about other people's. It's just like, no.
Yeah.
I've never.
Oh, and the funny thing about it, right? So, we had his dog, his pit bull, with us, right? So, I hit the window, shattered the glass with my head, and anybody that says, "Oh, wrestling and the Polynesians when your head fucking hits or whatever," that's bullshit. I spider webbed the glass, no concussion, nothing, right?
Not even a scratch.
I had fucking like the seatbelt, like I had the fucking Mondo Guerrero fucking bandoleros like from the fucking seatbelt for like 2 weeks after, for sure. Like I couldn't lift my, like arm above my fucking shoulder length or whatever. It sucked. It really sucked. But of all that, that's when we get the crash. But also, his dog went because gravity, right? So his dog, whatever, right? And before it hits, I get Dirty Sanchez by the dog. His balls just paintbrush, and then I hit the fucking window with my hand. So, right on.
How was the dog? Was the dog okay?
Dog is great, and that was actually the only reason why. He couldn't. So I went in the ambulance or whatever. He couldn't go in the ambulance because he had his dog with him. So this is pretty fucked. Where like he had to figure out a way home. He can't get an Uber theoretically because they don't take dogs, and then whatever. So he's all kind of discombobulated and whatever, and because he has a dog, he can't get the fucking treatment that he needs.
That's not even fair.
No, it isn't.
Under that circumstance, they should have let the puppy ride.
That's what I'm saying, but I don't know. And Graham Farrell, shout out to Graham Farrell. Hey, Woods. Hey, Ayesha. And your new student is watching. So you have a new student watching, Ayesha.
Oh, apparently so. Hi. Nice to see you.
Yes.
Nice.
Graham is one of the most precocious fucking refs that you guys have on the UK scene. I can't wait to see him get back into the business, much like you too. So fucking COVID, man.
I know. I can't wait to I've always had this spot in my head. If Graham, you're listening, I'm sorry, this is gonna happen. Where I just want to do it. It'll be funny. Where all this commotion is happening in the ring, everybody just gets up and goes. And Graham bumps and falls over because he's
COVID.
I just want to do it. I just want it. I love you. You love it too.
I mean, that's in some places here. That's a felony. That's a fucking full-fledged felony here. I don't know. But then also Staples is having Laker games again this week, so I'm fucking hey.
I never understand. I really don't get it. I mean, things are kind of opening up for us on the 26th, kind of. But I don't get how, because the Euro games is still happening. So please explain. Please.
Shit does not make any sense at all. And the Graham says, yep, Zoe is watching, LOL. And he'll take a bump for that. Not the Uber bump, but the COVID bump.
Good.
That's not going to age well. No. The COVID bump.
The COVID bump. I'm trying to figure out what that would be like. Is that like COVID toe? Is that what it's like? You just get a bump, like
COVID cocaine. What?
COVID toe. No,
Oh,
COVID toe.
COVID toe. COVID
Have you never?
toe.
I've just heard
I
of
heard
that.
no somebody. My wife is like my kind of like. She's my Sean Mooney, right? Sean Mooney would talk to you about like the event center of WWF. She tells me what the fuck else is going on in the world. Like, oh, this black dude got shot. I'm like, of course he did. Like, I mean, fuck, it just happens, right? And she tells me about the COVID toe, and I was like, whoa,
What?
that's fucking weird.
I don't know. I'm just like,
Can the Dr. Pimple Popper correct the COVID toe? Because she's been able to fucking like. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
It's just the measure. Carry on. It's okay. I'll be all right.
It's actually your turn, so you gotta go.
You gotta give me a time. Okay.
Hey, Graham, can you give us a one count? Two? How many? 10? It's a 10-second whatever.
It's a 10. It's a 10 count out. That's what I get. I get 10.
Okay.
No, actually, no. Joshi rules. I get 20.
That's what I was about to say. It's like it's a 10 or a 20.
Joshi rules. I get 20. I get 20 for Joshi rules. Okay. My story. My next story is just about me. It's about how when I first started training. Realistically, it was probably the most like shyest I've ever been in my life. I was searching after leaving college. I did go back. I did tell you that story, so it's fine. And I was searching training schools, and I found the training school in Edmonton, London, which is North London. And I'd written down time, date, location, trainer, everything, and I had it on this little piece of paper. I got the bus to the training center, which was the Angel Center, I think, at the time. And I literally just put my hood up, and I just walked into this room with a piece of paper, and I looked at the first person I saw. Remember who I am now. And I literally walked up to them and went, I'm here for this training session. And they grabbed the paper out of my hands and then just sat me down and went, so you want to be arrested, do you? And literally, he was the most nicest person ever. The person that grabbed the paper out of my hand and started talking to me is now one of my best friends. Jet Logan in the faction of London Inc. He literally said, do you know about women's independent wrestling? Do you know about this? Do you know about that? He was the guy who introduced me to Shimmer. I had no idea. Like, I really didn't until I first, he was like, okay, I'm going to lend you all of these DVDs. So the actual training session starts, and I get explained to that I'm not going to go into that ring, wherever it was, until I learn how to bump. So again, my two close friends now one's Andrew and the other one is Boo. Grab me by the arms, pick me up, and double hip toss me, and went, "That's a flip bump. Now do it yourself." And literally the entire day for 2 hours, I was just bumping. But I didn't see the ring. I didn't touch the ring. I didn't go inside. I saw them put it up. I probably brushed past it a little bit, but I was just literally bumping on the crash mat for 2 hours. That was what they made me do. And these guys didn't know who I was. I literally just walked in off the street, and they took a liking to me. So I thank them to this day for what they did for me.
I think that's shout out to Jet. That's awesome. That's amazing. That's a Mari Yamasaki. Now,
yes, it is.
Yes, but again, every time Mario Yamasaki does it, somebody dies. So let them fight Bushido way. Yeah, I don't know. So this one actually comes from. So when I was actually going to radio broadcasting school, all right, I went to a trade school. Right after I graduated from high school, and it was like I lived in Inglewood, and so theoretically 45-minute deal. I didn't have a car as an 18-year-old kid, so 4 hours. 4 hours is what it took, and I had, I think, Thursday and Sundays off. Right, Thursdays and Sundays off, and whatever. So like when I got home and at 11 o'clock after being gone since like 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd have to fucking wake up and do it all over again. So what ended up happening was that by the time we got closer to the school and switched buses, I would always sit on the outside because so nobody would sit on the inside. This lady just scoots me over, right? And I'm like pressed up against the glass, and she's just like, do you believe in the Lord? And I was like, I guess. Right, sure. right? Cool, man. And then she started like like she was praying, but it was just blah, 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 blah. That. But I'm also deaf, so anybody that might be whatever. I'm also deaf. Like for those keeping count, when I was trying to go to the military, and I went through all the processing and everything until it got to the hearing section, and it was found out at that time I had a 53% hearing loss in both ears.
Wow.
So I can actually, and that was like 2003. So I can actually not hear more than I can hear, and we're 20 years removed. So again, it's awesome. It's so fucking awesome. So this lady sits next to me, and she's doing her deal and whatever, and she's like, "You're wearing an AC/DC shirt," and I go, "Oh, I am." And it's one of like Angus, like full on fucking
No,
devil
it
horns.
was one of those.
Like, yeah. And I was like, oh no. And she's like, do you believe in the devil? So I thought it for a second I could give her an answer and whatever the fuck and whatever. So I just started. Yeah.
You did it. That poor woman. I can't.
I guess.
That poor woman.
My fun is different than others.
No, the thing is, I know so many people that would actually do that, but it's the thought of it actually happening. And
yeah, no, I looked her in the eye when I did it, almost like you in Alpha Female, right? And instead of punching her in the face, because that's not what you do, anybody that punches anybody in the face
is wrong.
Yes, unless it's like, I don't know, sanctioned rules and what have you, because wrestling and MMA, man, wrestling and MMA. But but yeah, so I looked her in the eye, and then I started whatever, and I think I might have like did like under my breath Vincent Price's like kind of monologue for Thriller.
I'm trying to remember, and now the time has come.
But I said it like in a like, and I skipped words so it would appear that I was like totally like it against my will. Yeah,
You're terrible. This a bad person, a very very bad person.
I'm refined now. Like I mean, my youth me is not like I'm not. Wasn't good. Like I didn't, like I said, I didn't like get in gangs or anything. But like, did I discover my dad's weed and porno stash and sell it at school? Maybe. Sorry, Dad. R.I.P.
He just admitted it now.
He knows.
Guys. He knows now. He knows.
I wanted a Game Gear. It was a Game Gear, and I was like $30, which is a lot of money at the time. I was just like. And I also, so I wanted, see, supply and demand, right? You want something and whatever. So I wanted Game Gear, and an opportunity presented itself where I actually had something tangible to trade. I mean, literally, this is the way that society has been built for eons, right? Since the beginning of man, right? So my kind of like, trade deal was weed and the porno.
You see, your school is weird. In when I went to school, you know what our currency was? Pokemon cards. You could get a lot of stuff for Pokemon cards. Our currency.
That was happening too, but you know where my my customers resided in? The group with all the Pokemon kids. So I got the most sales. The jocks, probably not even the band of people, because the band people, when they would go on their, like, they actually got more action and play from what I hear than the actual football players did. Like they'd whatever, and then like a tuba or mouthpiece would get put in a different, that's just what I heard is what I'm saying.
It didn't happen in any band I was in. That didn't happen.
I'm talking marching band, so they still had to like do the little the fucking top hat looking like the ringmaster from
Hey, I know.
Yeah. And Graham says, Why didn't you do that to Zoe? I would have loved to see her bump for 2 hours.
Because she got bumping after one.
Ooh.
Better than me.
Ooh.
Didn't have to.
That's a
Didn't
good.
have to.
That was a good way to kind of backpedal. My goodness, like
I get better at these every week. I do.
Yeah,
I practice it.
Good job. Right on. Yeah. All right. Right on. Good. I believe it's your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
I don't want to give you a wrestling story. I want to give you a different story.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Real life me. Let me see. What real life me has to offer.
Wow. You had to think about that? You know,
I do.
people want to pay to see you and do your thing. And you're like, what's interesting about me? And like the Jeopardy theme.
No, it's not even what's interesting about me. It's I'm trying to think of something that's not wrestling, and it's just like I got nothing. Okay, I've got absolutely nothing. I've got a story from a Pro Wrestling Eve show. This is what I did want to tell you. It leads in, like I told you about Jet and my other friends before. I was wrestling at a Pro Wrestling Eve show, and the ring. We don't know where. I can't remember where the ring was from or whose ring it was, but something had broke underneath the ring. And I remember my match was coming out. It was me versus Alpha, the infamous car door match. But what happened is something had happened actually underneath the ring. So the guys that were actually the ring crew, the guys that were around helping at the time, unfortunately, see, I didn't know this until after the match was over, had to go underneath the ring and prop it up with their feet as women were wrestling.
What?
They didn't tell me because I would have flat out refused to do my match knowing that my friends were underneath flipping 400 pounds of steel while I'm throwing someone about. But I was told afterwards, and it's a simple fact that even happened. Like, I'm just like, how were human beings underneath a ring trying to I'm a big person and other people are quite big, and it wasn't just our match that was going on. There were matches before ours, and it's the image of my friends. I can't even do it because I'm sitting on a chair. I'm like with their feet up against the wall. I'm wearing shorts, I'm not naked. It's just up against the ring while people are jumping up and down on this ring, and I'm just like, promoters sometimes.
But that's also how they fucking like do the Undertaker Druids shit, right? Like that's
I know, but that's a WE ring. That's got like trapdoors and like foam and stuff. Like there's things underneath there. Have you ever seen a Brit Rest ring?
Yeah, I've seen it. I haven't seen underneath. I don't look under the skirt.
Toolbox and everything else that shouldn't be in the building. That's what they shove underneath a Brit Rest ring. So imagine that with people.
And Graham says, "Oh, involving the mysterious flame." Whoa,
mysterious flame? What flame?
Flame? You got to give us more, Graham. That's what I'm saying.
I need cryptic codes. Uncode that for us.
He's kiss fizzing, kid. He's kiss fizzing. Come on.
No kayfabe. Tell me what you. It's fine. This is a safe space.
It is. It's safe. Oh gosh, I think. All right, so wait. I don't want to tell that one because I don't want my kid to be taken away from me. No, there was a moment where no, I won't tell that one. No, that's not bad. That's not good. Because he ended up getting burnt. It's not fun. That's never. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh.
Well, he said flame. Oh,
I want to know what that means. I did. LOL. The bathroom story with the mysterious flame. The bathroom story with the mysterious flame,
dude. Either he's setting it.
No! He's talking about when my bathroom set itself on fire. He wants me to tell me.
Whoa. What?
Wait, you know this. I told you this.
I believe so, but for those who don't know, come on, just tell them
So
again.
I don't know what happened. Me and my partner were sitting down and we were watching. I think it was Friends on TV. It was something, and I just heard a beeping, like and we thought it was coming from outside. So we were just no whatever, continue watching TV. And I got up because I wanted to go to the bathroom. So I opened the door and it's a bit smoky, and I'm like, this is not normal. This is okay. Well, my partner smokes, but he smokes outside. But there's smoke in my house. Okay, I'm not burning incense. None of my senses candles are on. I've got an ensuite, so I open the ensuite bathroom and it just hits me, and this massive flame just jumps out of my bathroom. I ran out of my corridor into the other corridor, into the living room, and literally grabbed him and went, Rory, there's a fire! And he was like, I was like, no, there's an actual fire. And he gets up because I like to spin things out of proportion sometimes, and I do. And I go, no, there's an actual fire. And he runs to my bathroom and goes, fire, fire. And he's trying to put it out. He's getting water from the sink. He's running outside, trying to tap on everybody's door. He grabs me, throws me outside. And I literally sit on the floor, and we're trying to tell everybody, fire, fire, fire. And I ran back inside because it's him. I can't let him just melt and burn. And I ran inside to get him, and he literally is so angry with me. He even said that was the most stupidest thing you ever could do. A, you were letting oxygen into the house while it was on fire, and B, I care about your safety than my own. He was still there with the fire trying to put it out after he had thrown me outside. Like literally, hero, fireman, lumberjack. Wow. That's what I'm with right now.
Wow.
To the point where his hands were like burnt, and he was outside. I've still got the picture to this day. He's outside barefoot with his hands burnt to a singe. They're putting like cream and ointment on his hands. He's got an oxygen mask on, and I'm just fine. But he literally stayed in there until the fire brigade came trying to put it out. But when they had cleared up everything and everything was done, the only thing, literally, not even, I send you this picture because it pees me off to this day. The only thing that was on fire was like a stack of drawers. It was plastic, which is why it was such big smoke. But my makeup bag. My makeup bag had apparently spontaneously combusted. So this is the podcast world, and I've said this. I've never said this on the internet, and I'm going to say it now. That was my choice of like, I'm no longer wear that much makeup anymore. I don't wear foundation. Like I cut off like my hair. I'm growing my dreads. I'm trying to be as natural as possible because I literally see that as a universal sign. Makeup is bad for you.
Yeah, when I'm not to put light in fire stories.
Like,
no, not to make light of it, but I mean, what was Valentine's Day like afterwards? That happened recently, right?
That happened recently.
Okay, because like I was just like, the awesome thing would be like if he got you a card and was like, I will walk through fire for you.
Oh, that's beautiful. See, that's how you know you're married.
Yes. So you cannot, like, he's got perennial, like, there's no dog. The dog house and the couch is non-existent for this dude. He literally fucking Bob Backlund his fucking hands.
I know.
With your fucking spontaneous makeup.
I literally, we don't know what happens. And I was literally, like, peed off for about a week because the report came back from the fire brigade, obviously, and they said that the fire may have been caused by ignited cigarette, and it was like, no, you check the entire. I don't own candles in this house. Like, I have Sensi's like warm burners. He smokes outside, but like it's like there's no fire in this house whatsoever. So simple fact that they put that, I was like, no, check again. And they checked again, and then it was found inconclusive. Like, they couldn't find anything. They even went through my makeup bag to find like electric eye curlers and all that other pish, and it was like there was nothing there. But my makeup bag decided to just go poof.
Fuck, man. Dude, I that shit gets me. Like, especially when I was like there were times when I was driving Uber where like I would go to the filling station like fucking 3 times a night and whatever, right? Just to kind of fill up and everything like that. And I would always touch the fucking deal because I saw someplace like on a fucking YouTube or whatever, dude, like the static charge and whatever, it fucking blew him up. So I'm in morbid fear of like that ever fucking happening, spontaneous shit just combusting. It was not cool.
It was just like the thing that like freaked me out the most was the noise, because it wasn't until I opened the door that it was like a lion, like you could hear the roar of the fire, and I was just like, no, help me, please.
Oh man. Because I mean the way that it was going, I was half expecting you to be like, Lord Jesus, there's a fire. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Fire, somebody help me, because I was just like, oh, all my Japanese posters and stuff. No.
Wow.
Thank God it was only the makeup. It was only, I don't care. I'll
your
never wear it
partner's
again.
hands.
Yes, and he's fine. He's literally a lumberjack. Like he builds log cabins for a living, so it's he's all right.
That's a fucking wrestling gimmick. Like that,
no.
big Josh and the fucking Dancing Bears. That was a pre-joink Matt Warren in WCW. It's fucking Big Josh and Dancing fucking Bears, man. Because
I told him many times he would make so much money, but he just doesn't. It's not his thing.
God, that's a missed opportunity. Like fucking not buying Dogecoin. Dude,
he'd make more money than me, and I'm trying to tell like you would.
Yes. There you go. Okay, if he would assume, let's say if he gives in, right, and he does the fucking lumberjack gimmick, right? Would you be his valet? Would you gotta ditch it and whatever? And what would be your lumberjill name if that were to happen?
What would be my lumberjill name? Well, I was like swinging an axe in Pennyworth, so I'd have to like take it from there a little bit, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
So let's think. I'm gonna nick Madge Edit Murphy and spell it with 2 E's. I'm gonna be WE. I'm gonna change it and I'm gonna spell it with 2 E's.
I love it. There was a time. I mean, okay, so when I was going to wrestling school, broadcasting school, I wanted to wrestle, right? And I actually had a name, right? And I thought it was so cool. And this was the time of like Justin Credible and Bilvis Wesley, like these fucking play on words, man. And I thought it was brilliant. And I was like, I'm gonna have it, and I'm gonna be like, who rules the ring? A dictator. So I would be Dictator, right? And then I write it down, and my cousin looks at me and he says, Dictator. And I was like,
not only that, but when you were like doing well for your for your comeback, you know what will be chanted? Dick, 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 dick. Can you really live that down? That's
I didn't think it through, is what I'm saying. I was trying to formulate. It was, Now, this isn't so much a story as it is a parable for life, because I mean, and I kind of take the essence of the story and bringing it up from your makeup spontaneously combusting in your bathroom, right? So when I'm in a public place, right, and I know, dude, something did not agree, and a lot of times, a lot of things, like I'm a human, like trash compactor. Like there was a time where my cousin, the same one who was like, oh, it sounds like Dictator. Yeah, Clarence, my cousin. He dared me. One of our other cousins from Fiji came over and was like, this dude eats anything. And so the cousins kind of conspires and whatever. Clarence sees to create this sandwich, right? A sandwich, burnt toast, like cloves, like actual fucking cloves, like 3-year-old birthday cake, some winter fresh gum, and whatever. And it was like, Adam, I dare you to fucking eat it. And that's all it took. As an 18-year-old me, that's like, fucking, we're doing this shit. Dare. Right? And I fucking ate that shit, right? So when stuff like that happens or whatever, like, sometimes I need to go to the toilet. in a public place, right? So if I know and I'm like, I don't want any embarrassment or whatever, I'll go like a fucking animal noise, like oh, like monkey, right? And I can hear it, like, and even with my lack of hearing, I could hear it. People are like, "What the fuck? What was that?" Whatever. So I do another fucking whatever, but then I go to the other side, like of the stall, and go like whatever, and then like a fucking toucan sound or whatever, right? And then you can hear like the fucking laughter happen, right? Bombs away. So again,
Was anybody
everybody-
there?
Yeah, no, I'm
Yes,
just saying. That's it. That's it. You fucking drop a deuce after you do like you get like spontaneous like laughing and shit like that, and everybody muffles the fucking sound. And this, yeah, I'm just saying, like from the pit of hell and my guts or whatever. But I fan it with the laughter of people while I make animal sounds.
To be fair, that's genius. I'm used to everyone just turn on the tap to muffle the noise.
That's not conserving water. That's like fucking Captain Planet will kick your ass, is what I'm saying. Fuck
true.
that.
That's
Fuck
very
that.
true.
You fucking make animal sounds.
That's
No
true.
animals were hurt during this fucking toilet flushing.
Everybody now make animal sounds when you're trying to have a poo.
Just saying. Well, now because of COVID, it doesn't really translate as well because it would be spores of fucking, I'm just saying. But pre-COVID, it worked for sure.
Or you can get one of those animal sounds on your phone. Just like play it.
Wow, that would be so much smarter, huh? Fuck.
See, we've aged in technology now. We've evolved. Everything's just
Yeah. And Graham says woman's makeup is the tool of the devil. Ooh. God, somebody went Old Testament. That shit sounded like fucking I was gonna say polygamous, but there's another one. There's an apostolic. Whatever. All of them. Right. And still caught a profit with the Dogecoin. All right, that's what I want to say. And turned you into a tree. Oh, I don't know. No, it didn't. I couldn't turn into the tree in the toilet because then I would shit a log.
Anyone want to give him? Okay, you can have 5 points. You can have 5.
Right on.
That was definitely a dad joke as well. That's why you only get 5.
You've seen the fucking my timeline? It's podcasts and memes. And most of them are fucking bad. I don't want anybody to get offended. Fuck that. I don't want to be canceled. But you see, when they come to anybody, if you guys come to any of the According to Woods social medias or whatever, you're either going to have insightful podcasts such as this or fucking memes. So you're going to be enlightened or you're going to laugh your ass off because there's a lot of bad shit happening in the world. So none of that shit happens, right? You will. I'm not here to fucking like who's matter or whatever, because if I have to fucking tell you in this day and age that certain lives matter, fuck, it's already gone. Good Lord. Like shit, whatever. So come, we'll have fun. No judgment. It doesn't matter what you identify with, whatever. Cool. You're welcome. Let's go. Don't be a douche. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
No hate. So it's just like safe space. This is a
block the hate. Fucking Darren Young, man. Fred Rosser. Let's do that. Why not? Equality. That's a pretty cool fucking gimmick to do, dude. Like of all the things that you could do with your hands and the signals and whatever, I never thought that was a thing. And then fucking Fred Rosser, and it's also an equal sign for equality. Shout out to Fred Rosser. Fuck yeah, man.
Just like never. I know.
Block the fucking hate, yo. Equality. Yeah. Just saying. That's also like in fucking jiu-jitsu. That's a Ezekiel joke, which is pretty fucking horrible, right? Like somebody's on you, right? Mm-hmm. And then you fucking like you're gonna coddle them like a fucking baby, right? You slide your fucking hand under their neck and then this forearm across the throat, and you flex right there. It's a fucking guillotine, and the Ezekiel. I would hit people with that. Shit, dude, lights out.
Okay, Graham, if you're still listening, I'm going to try that on you when we can do contact. I'm very intrigued.
Yes, that's it. Well, that's the thing. in grappling, it's all in the squeeze. Even like a rear naked choke, right? Like you basically squeeze. If you exert muscle and you fucking whatever, you're gonna first off blow your fucking arms out doing that. But
True.
yeah, like you just flex and whatever. That's when you know you did it right. You got to fucking put your elbow. What I was taught is the person's chin should go right in the crevice of your elbow. That's it. And then you fucking
Yeah.
just, it's almost like you're fucking cutting off your own arm and whatever. And that creates the tension. And then also, this free hand goes right behind the fucking head or on their head and it pushes it down further. Fuck yeah, man.
Hmm.
Just say it.
Hmm.
Just say it.
This is why I need to start doing contact again. This is not fair.
Dude, Josh Barnett has this fucking it's streaming. I was gonna call it a DVD, but like it's a stream or whatever that you could do it. Like on Amazon, I bought like a $20 dummy that I filled with old clothes and shit like that. I'm trying to fucking get some shit in. I'm trying to unfat fuck myself. I'm all for
Yeah.
body positivity, but for me, as somebody who had his parents die pretty young of ailments like a brain aneurysm and a heart attack, I should fucking know better because like right now I'm at the halfway point of where they were. So I'm all like, you guys body positivity or whatever. Right now, I'm a fat fuck, so I'm gonna try and unfat fuck myself.
Hmm. I always teach body confidence. As long as you're happy and healthy and confident in the shape that you're in, then you're fine.
I mean, cake is awesome, but fuck, man.
I know. I like it too.
I know. I know. Steve Tatum says the only thing missing to according to Woods is the financial advice and beer drinking. LMAO. I can't drink beer right now. I haven't drank beer. I mean, I went fucking hard in the paint. Like my sister's here. My sister's a pseudo mixologist and whatever. Fuck, man, we were drinking pretty. Yeah, we thought the fucking world was gonna end, man. So it was like,
Yeah.
fuck. I'm not gonna be sober for this shit. So that's it. And then she left around like Mother's Day, and then like I just stopped. It became less fun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drinking alone isn't it's not fun.
Yeah, social drinking versus alcoholism is a fine line. One with people, social drinker, by yourself, crying in a fetal position. Maybe you need a fucking, I don't know. I've said too much.
No, carry on.
Carry on. And Grub says bugger that he's fucking, yeah, you're going to take all of the bumps. All of the
bumps.
Yes, and I will accept that. Yeah, sorry, Graham. LOL. No, 100%. It's do you know about the Dogecoin?
No.
So it's a cryptocurrency that this time last year I was trading for less than a penny.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is like at 10 cents now. 12 cents even. Last time I checked.
See, it's like GameStop. Everybody just got into that as well, and that was nothing like last year, and now, like,
yeah, man. Oh, the fucking like the to the moon and the dude. It's weird. Maybe I'm grasping at straws and just like I don't know. My fucking mortality. All of the podcasts, all the memes, all the financial shit. I knew shit. Inglewood High School education, folks. Inglewood High School education, right? And I'm like, fuck. I read everything, all the YouTube, all that shit and whatever. Made some good money, right? So if anything happens to me, if I'm fucking face down in fucking cake and shit like that, my kids and wife have a fucking nest egg, is what I'm saying.
But that's the way to go.
Literally to go? Oh shit!
The face down in a pool of cake, of course.
That's not bad. Better than Elvis.
Oh yeah. No, but did he really die on the toilet? Is that facts? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Which theoretically, I mean, unfortunately, my parents also. So,
Really?
like, I get like, fuck, like every time I'm like, oh fuck, man, like, I don't want to go to the toilet. I feel like Mikey from fucking Look Who's Talking Now, right?
The toilet monster.
Yeah.
Oh, you poor thing. But that toilet was. To be fair, when I watched that when I was little, that scared me. Like that was terrifying. It really was.
Yeah. Any more stories before we go?
I've got nothing now, unless you want to
Got-
keep some for another time.
yeah, I think we should, but I think I've. Oh, there was a time. There was a time I actually confused, or for a number of years, I actually confused the words deprecating,
Mhm.
as in self-deprecating humor,
And
and
defecate.
defecating, because I was like, "Oh, you're shitting on yourself," so self-defecation.
So you just told a lot of people that they were shitting on themselves.
No, I always use it with me. I was like, I'm using self-defecating humor. Duh.
Self shitting humor. Is
Yeah.
that a thing?
Don't Google that because you'll find it. The
I,
internet is
so
wild.
the last time someone did that to me, it was that two girls one cup thing, and I just I could, it's burnt into my brain. It really is. It's,
Yeah.
I want it gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's a nice way to end it. Everyone Google that.
Yeah, Google that and shit. And Dogecoin is a small dip, but it's 11 cents on Doge. And
11.
AMC GameStop is to the moon. Just one share needed. Hopefully, I'm
AMC, really? Okay.
yeah. Well, we just had in so one of the two of the most historic like movie franchises in terms of like theater, ArcLight, and they funny enough that story of the Katy Perry and the FedEx and whatever, it's right opposite that in Hollywood, like right on Vine and Leland, I believe, right? So that unfortunately just they ceased operations because of the pandemic and everything like that. So one of the most like historic sites of moviedom and like once a time in Hollywood and a bunch of premieres had happened there, but that ceases to exist. But AMC is a fucking thing. So they could potentially be like the only like worldwide fucking brand when all this thing is over.
I already know everything's going to change when all of this is over. It's just
So
like
are
I
my
don't.
shorts. So just saying.
Hopefully, I hope you will change your shorts.
I don't know. Maybe I'll salute him too. But for you, BigFemVader, for everyone to follow you and what you're doing and what fierce females are doing, where
That
can they
thing up
find
there.
you on the social media? Yeah,
Uh,
nothing.
at fierce, you can type in fierce females wrestling Glasgow. At BigFemVader into any social media site, and you can basically see this wonderful face, as well as check out Pennyworth if you need to. Mary Janet Murphy is still there, and literally just keep up to date and searching with me, Ayesha Raymond. There's only one. There will only ever be one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, theoretically, if you had a daughter, would it be Ayesha Raymond Jr.? How does that work with
No,
the female?
I don't know. No, I think I actually had never thought about that.
Hmm.
I'm
So there
gonna
can be
Google
two.
that now.
There can be two.
How did you know?
I'm just saying. Oh man. And I'm According to Woods. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to this podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm According to Woods across the board, just like it says in this little green thing here. I like green. It's actually aquamarine. I was going for Fiji water there, so that's what I was going for. But you can go ahead and check that out. Also, check out the sponsor, primeathletics.com, for all of the Prime Athletics gear. It's fucking awesome. So there's that. And RIP DMX. Fuck Prince Philip. Ooh. All right. Yeah. I think that's it. Bye.
Mi gente, you